Hi, seventh graders. So this is the last part or the second part of your photosynthesis and cellular respiration notes. So you're probably thinking at the very beginning of this video, why did Ms. Dazan have a picture of a fire burning down a forest? Well, I'll explain to you that later. Right now, I want you to look at these two items that are on the screen in front of you right now. Okay, this is the chloroplast and this is the mitochondria. Question is, in your head, you should think about what process do each of these organelles belong to. Okay, so the two processes we've been talking about is photosynthesis and cellular respiration. In your head, you should remember that chloroplasts go with plants and they're the ones who make the food, so that goes with photosynthesis. So these chloroplasts go with photosynthesis. Cellular respiration uses the organelle called mitochondria for that to happen. Here's the next question. Which one of these occurs in plants? Trick question. It's both of these. So chloroplasts and mitochondria occur both in plants, but animals cannot use chloroplasts. They don't have chloroplasts. They can't do photosynthesis. So the only process that animals use is cellular respiration using the organelle mitochondria. Okay? So notice how these two organelles are now connected together in a circle. Well, that's because photosynthesis and cellular respiration work together. So let me explain. So you should actually have your notes open, and your notes should be open to page 3 underneath the picture of the mitochondria. Okay, and the title of the section you're in it says, How are photosynthesis and cellular respiration connected? As it says, most oxygen in the atmosphere is made during photosynthesis. Makes sense because plants release oxygen when they perform photosynthesis. Almost all organisms use oxygen during cellular respiration. Okay, for you and I, we are animals, an organism that performs cellular respiration, we're going to take in oxygen. Then we're going to release carbon dioxide. Plants then are going to use that carbon dioxide to make sugars. Hence, photosynthesis uses the products of respiration, and respiration uses the products of photosynthesis. So they go hand in hand in each other. Whatever respiration makes, it's going to be used in photosynthesis, and whatever photosynthesis makes is going to be used in respiration, hence going in circles. Hence the picture that you have now in front of you. Okay, so photosynthesis is going to occur in chloroplast, and cellular respiration is going to occur in a mitochondria. Now, you would diagram on the page 5, which we need to fill in. And we're going to do that one section at a time, starting up here where it says blank energy. So for the plant to perform photosynthesis, meaning for the chloroplast to move on, it has to have a certain type of energy. So the energy that goes in this blank would be radiant energy or light energy. You can put either answer down. So in this blank right here, it should go light energy. So it's going to use light energy. The chloroplast is going to use light energy. It's going to produce or make oxygen. Okay. And then it's also going to produce something else. It's going to produce these little molecules. And what would those little molecules be? Okay. These little molecules are sugar or glucose. So you need to put down here glucose. That's Glucose. Glucose. So again, what comes out of the chloroplast is going to be oxygen and sugar, and then it's going to go into the mitochondria and it's going to use it. Okay, out comes another type of energy. So let me make this full screen a little quick. So there should be another type of energy that comes out of it. Okay, this one has a very long name, but it's abbreviated by 3 letters. And the energy that comes out of mitochondria, and it's the energy that we use to power everything in our system, is called ATP. The long name is adenine triphosphate, but you guys are just going to write ATP. Also, what comes out of mitochondria, it's going to be carbon dioxide, okay, and as well as these little molecules. They should look very familiar to you. There's 2 here, and there's 1 here. I'll give you a hint. It's got 2 oxygens and 1 hydrogen. Those are the elements in this molecule. The name of the molecule is water. So water is going to come out of mitochondria. So we've got ATP that comes out, carbon dioxide comes out, and water comes out. Well, guess what? These are the two items you need in order for photosynthesis to occur, plus the light energy from the sun. So it goes over and over and over again. Okay, so hopefully you filled those blanks in. Let's go to the very last section on the bottom of your notes. Okay, we're going to skip to that. And this is actually the carbon cycle. We're taking everything we've learned so far and combine it all together. So, and unfortunately, this is not in blue. This is the word that you need to place, though, in that first blank or highlight. And it is carbon. Carbon is found in important building blocks of organisms. Carbon moves through organisms, between organisms, and the physical environment through several processes. These processes put together make up the carbon cycle. Okay, so you're going to actually watch a video clip here in 1 second. So go ahead, take a minute, watch this video clip. Yes, it's a study jam, but it'll definitely help you understand the next portion of our notes.
I was watching the news tonight, and when they did the weather part, they talked about this thing called global warming, and it didn't sound like a good thing.
Global warming? Is that what causes warm days like today?
I don't know if it really causes the warm days, but some scientists think it might be one of the things that makes the Earth warmer over a long period of time.
Did the news say how global warming works?
Kinda. Let me break it down for you. The heat we feel is from something called the greenhouse effect. That's when gases like carbon dioxide trap heat from the sun, causing the temperature of the planet to be warm enough to support life.
But wait, plants need carbon dioxide to live, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Let me start from the top. Carbon is an element found in every living thing on Earth, and it's constantly being recycled. The carbon dioxide plants use in photosynthesis and the carbon dioxide we breathe out is all part of the carbon cycle. The carbon cycle recycles carbon from living things to non-living things between Earth and its atmosphere.
That's a lot of carbon. Where does it all start?
Well, let's start with you and me. Take a deep breath and let it out. When animals and humans like us breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, it's called respiration.
Oh yeah, and don't plants take in carbon dioxide to make food?
Yeah, green plants make their food using energy from the sun to turn water and carbon dioxide into food. It's called photosynthesis.
So basically, carbon dioxide is cycled back and forth between plants and animals.
Exactly. But there's even more to it than that. Carbon isn't only in our breath. It's a part of our bodies and the bodies of every other living thing on Earth, including plants.
That carbon gets cycled too?
You bet. When any living thing dies, decomposers go to work. A decomposer is an organism, like bacteria, that breaks down dead plant or animal matter and releases the nutrients back into the soil. When that matter is broken down, the carbon contained in the plant or animal is released.
And it goes back into the atmosphere?
Some of it does. Some of the carbon stays in the soil with the plant and animal matter. After like millions of years, it can turn into the fossil fuels we use, like oil and coal.
How random! I never knew that was where oil and coal came from.
Yep, and when we burn those fossil fuels, the carbon inside of them is released into the atmosphere. It combines with oxygen to make carbon dioxide. Some of that carbon dioxide is used by plants for photosynthesis, but sometimes too much fossil fuel is burned, and that means too much carbon is released into the air. That adds to the greenhouse effect we talked about before and global warming.
Right back to where we started. The carbon cycle continues.
All right, Mia, take a shot and give me the replay of the carbon cycle.
Okay. Carbon's an element found in every living thing. It's a must for survival. Plants, animals, fossil fuels, even the atmosphere are all part of the carbon cycle, the continuous cycle of carbon moving between living and non-living things on Earth and in the atmosphere. Too much carbon dioxide in the air can cause global warming, so it's important that we control the amount of CO2 in the air. How's that for some carbon cycle savvy?
Score! You got the carbon cycle on lock. And your soccer skills aren't bad either.
Thanks. I think a little coaching from the soccer champ gave me just the kick I needed.
All right, so let's look at what are the sources of carbon. So we can find carbon all around our planet. Sugar is where carbon is stored. It's the chemical energy needed for us to function. So we actually have carbon in sugar. Okay, that's why glucose has the chemical formula of C6H12O6. The C stands for carbon. The atmosphere also has carbon. It's known as carbon dioxide. Water actually has carbon in it. Rocks, soils, organisms, you and I are made of carbon. And the most importantly, fossil fuels. And fossil fuels are basically the fuels that we use to make our world run, do work. So oil, gasoline, propane, coal, those are all examples of fossil fuels. So the carbon cycle involves four main processes, okay? And if you look at your last page of your packet, you will see four blanks, okay? The first process you know are very familiar with that is part of the carbon cycle is photosynthesis. Again, it's the process of using light, water, and carbon to make sugars. The second process is respiration. So again, the sugar that comes out of photosynthesis is going to go into respiration. And this is where organisms break down and create energy and they release the carbon into the atmosphere. So this is where your extra carbon is breathed out of your lungs. Okay. In some other animals' cases, they're released through their skin or maybe released through their nostrils. Okay, so respiration is the second process. The third one is called decomposition. It's a process of breaking down dead organisms and waste. Majority of times these are put back into the ground when we bury or create compost, and that's why any type of soil that uses natural decomposition is going to have lots of carbon in it. And finally, unfortunately, this particular process is the most dangerous part of the carbon cycle. It is combustion. And unfortunately, as humans, are great factors in making combustion much more bigger than it really needs to be. And this is the process of burning materials such as fossil fuels, wood, or any living thing. So you and I, yes, we can burn. When we burn, this process releases carbon dioxide, water, heat, and other materials into the environment. Too much combustion causes pollution and the buildup of carbon dioxide in the environment. So when we burn things like our cars or burn our fuel in the cars or burn fuel in a lawnmower or burn fuel in a factory, those are all forms of combustion, any type of combustion. Even the burning of wood in your fireplace or fire pit is an example of combustion because wood was once a living thing. And you actually have to use fire in order to release the heat from it. Okay, so that is pretty much it of your notes. If you take a look, try to answer these questions to yourself. What are 3 sources of carbon? If you're looking, the answer should be on the bottom of page 4, and those answers should be carbon dioxide in the air. It could also be sugar, water, soils, living things. Name the 4 processes involved in the carbon cycle. So the answer to this question is found on the last page of your notes, and the answer should be photosynthesis, respiration, combustion, and decomposition. As a result of the process of blank, we have more carbon than our carbon cycle can handle. Therefore, we have a great amount of pollution in our environment. So one of the 4 processes, whether decomposition, combustion, photosynthesis, respiration, which one of those does it belong here in this blank? The answer should be combustion. It is the worst form of pollution to our environment. Okay. So we're not worried about this. So you're going to go ahead and complete your second checkpoint for your notes, okay? And make sure you also use your notes to help you complete that checkpoint. If you do not know the answer or want to verify if your answer is correct before you submit it, use your notes. All right, guys, good luck.